Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of this month's Digital Diaries, Voices of Disruption. Today I'm talking to a lady that is flying the flag for gender and diversity across the mining industry and specifically in South Africa. Raksha Naidoo, the chairperson of Women in Mining South Africa, is going to share from a woman's perspective exactly how gender diversity in the industry is tracking, and more specifically, what is needed to disrupt what seems to have become a stagnated trajectory for the industry at large. Raksha, thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, thank you so much, Laura. Really happy to be here and a very exciting topic. Looking forward to next year's Mining Indaba.
Super. So Raksha, I'm sure we can agree that the percentage of women in the mining industry has definitely improved over recent years. And there are actually still higher targets certain companies are aiming for. But from my perspective, women's presence in the industry has stagnated ever so slightly. So in line with our positive disruption theme for 2024, what disruption do you believe is required to bring more women at all levels into the industry?
So I actually think one of the biggest positive disruptors that the mining industry has is the voice of the woman. And I think that we are not necessarily using our voices sufficiently. And I actually don't think we are listening enough to the voices that are out there. I think that one of the stagnating aspects, as you've mentioned, and I think I also see it, is that like a lot of people are talking about change and what they want to do and how they want to bring about it. I think sometimes a lot of it is not actually being translated into actual action. I think that we are still in a very much a situation where there's a lot of companies who are acknowledging the need for gender diversity, for changing the faces of organizations. But there are far too many people as well who are doing it as a tick box exercise, as opposed to actually tangibly making a difference. I think we're seeing a lot more women coming into management roles, but sort of like more in the mid-management, junior management section. And then they sort of stay there for like a development phase or development period. But there's not enough that are actually getting the opportunity to go straight into a C-suite role, get straight in there at the top and be one of the fundamental changes that organization and then the industry can have. I think it's a beautiful time, I think, to be in this industry, because I think that we have the power to actually be the change that this industry needs. And I think that there are so many incredible women who've stepped into some of these senior roles that are trying to do it. But I think if we all don't collectively and collaboratively do this, the change is going to be that much harder. And that's why we're probably seeing a little bit of the stagnation as we both appreciate.
I love it, Raksha. We have the power to be the change that the industry
needs.
Absolutely. But as you say, only good if we actually exercise our position to be a voice and to make decisions and be influencers in the industry, as you say.
Yeah, and I think one of the problems is that, I think a lot of people want to do things, right? And that's amazing. But I think there's a lot of times where people want to do it, but they don't necessarily have the support to execute it and push it all the way through. I think the change has got to come right from the top and work its way down. So if you're not making fundamental changes at board level, and then you're going to sort of like senior executive management level or whatever it is, it's got to ripple down all the way from there. It's amazing to bring in more women into this industry. It's amazing to put more women into development roles at junior management, but it almost feels like there's a little bit of a disconnect. And that's why I believe that one of the most positive disruptions that our mining industry can have is the voice of the woman.
So, Raksha, that's just one element of challenge, I suppose, the mining industry still needs to deal with. Another is retention. I believe that this is a challenge for women in the industry as well. How do we go about addressing that particular challenge?
I think that's probably one of the biggest reasons I think we're seeing a lot of stagnation as well, is because that I think a lot of women are leaving the industry. I think there's a lot of people, and through a lot of the work that we do at WIMSA, there's a lot of women who still don't feel safe to be in the mining industry. I think that there's a lot that needs to be done to create safer workspaces where women are not feeling the threat of sexual harassment, gender-based violence, just general intimidation and discrimination. And I think up until we don't actually fix those things, we can bring in as many people as we want, but eventually people are going to just leave if they're not feeling safe and comfortable to continue to thrive in it. We've had many instances and stories where women have shared with us that they've either gone on maternity leave or sick leave or something like that, come back to work and their role has been replaced or taken over by someone. And so instead of fighting or instead of, voicing the challenges that they are feeling, people just sort of walk away. The stories of gender-based violence that takes place in the mining industry is horrific. And it sadly continues on a daily basis. And a lot of people feel that not enough is being done. A lot of people feel that their complaints and their grievances are being raised but not followed through. A lot of people feel that things are just being swept under a rug. And I think that up until we don't start having some of those very, very hard conversations about the reality of what's happening on the ground, it's going to make it very difficult. We had a session recently at WUMSA where, it was around bullying and harassment in the workplace. And somebody relayed a story from one of the major mining houses in the industry. And she explained whatever was going on, and she took advice from one of the lawyers that we had on our panel, and she didn't understand her basic rights as an employee of that organization. And it's almost like the most basic things. But then you talk to somebody that sits at head office of the same organization, and they're talking about how they've got these incredible policies and procedures in place, and they're making all of these changes, which is amazing, but it's not being transferred down to the actual operator level or to the people on the ground. So I think that those disconnects also are something that we need to be addressing. And as we start, I think, educating each other, educating everyone, and having everybody aware of their rights, what's going on, how to actually, solve for some of the problems that they face, people won't be leaving the industry as quickly as they are. And we will be able to, truly retain and grow people in the industry.
And honestly, Raksha, do you think enough has been done to address these challenges that you've outlined, that, there are real challenges and we need to tackle them head on? Are we doing enough? Are we having the right conversations? Do you see change in momentum of making a difference?
If I'm going to be 100% honest, from my personal opinion, no, I don't think we're doing enough. I think that there's a lot of people who are saying they're doing things, but not actually doing it. I think that there's a lot of platforms and forums that have been created that offer incredible insight, that offer incredible support to people. And I think that the more that different entities and organizations come together and actually listen to each other and talk about some of the, the real truths and the hard truths that are out there, then I think true change can come about. We need to stop listening to each other to just react. We need to stop listening to each other just to say, oh, but I've already got this in place. Here's my tick boxes. I'm doing this, etc., etc. No, that's not going to be enough. We also need to be actually executing some of the stuff that a lot of people are talking about, as opposed to, taking months on end to draft plans and, these beautiful strategies and whatever it is. Sometimes we need to just take action as well. We need to start doing things. And up until we don't tangibly start doing things and actually get our hands dirty and get involved, we're still going to have this problem. We're going to still be talking about a women in mining problem as opposed to professionals in mining,
Absolutely. We've come so far, but still such a far way to go, right, Raksha?
Absolutely.
My next question seems counterintuitive to what you've said, but I think we should explore it anyway. And that's the area of new women coming into the industry. So I know we're still dealing with a few challenges, but we do want to explore how to bring more women into the industry. How do we get the youth in the female sector to join the mining industry, and how do we entice them? How do we make it attractive?
Yeah, so I'm so passionate about this as well, and I completely am on the same page with you about this. And it's a big part of the work that we at WUMSA are focused on in terms of one of our foundational strategies. So last year we created a career booklet, and in this booklet, it basically highlights the different faces of women in mining. And it basically shows you the different types of careers that you can have in this industry, whether it's a mining engineer, drill rig operator, a doctor, an accountant, an HR executive, whatever, that there's so many different faces and different hats that one can wear in order to come into this beautiful industry and still very positively contribute to making this industry great, as well as building a better society. So what we do is, or what we are committed to doing is, we believe that we've got to go out there to schools particularly and show kids why science is fun, because it's amazing. It's an incredible industry. There's so much to learn. There's so much of innovation that's going on. So this year we executed a wonderful career day that we did in partnership with Fraser Alexander in Rustenburg. We have plans next year to execute a couple more of these in different mining regions within the country, and to go to the schools and to actually talk to the students at your grade 9 level or at matric level that are now, either getting ready to choose subjects for the next phase of their high school career, or getting ready now to look at what are my options at university. Our booklet has been designed to basically show, okay, so if you want to be a geologist, this is what you should have done at high school from a subject's perspective. These are the types of marks that you would need in order to get into a geology degree at university. These are the types of, subjects you would study, the institutions that offer it, and to almost just, run a bit of an education in terms of like a bridging the gap between the student and the industry. And I think that, through initiatives like this and through us as industry leaders getting more involved in giving back into the schools and the communities, I think that, we can start to excite students again and show people that, yes, whilst mining might seem like it's very intimidating, and I think a lot of people feel like it's a very dangerous industry, there are so many other careers within the industry that you can have extremely successfully in order to bring more people into it. I think there's a lot of cultural biases, and there's a lot of those gender stereotypes that exist in certain communities where girls think they can't do certain things. And it's about us as an organization like WMSA, as well as, I guess, platforms like Indaba, or even just industry in general, to break that narrative and break the stereotype, and to show them examples of very positive female role models that are actually doing it. And sometimes I think, when we're able to relate and resonate with someone on the other side who's actually living it, it seems more real to you. And I think that's a big part of our drive, and a huge thing that we're continuing to do, because the future, we need to encourage the future. We need to bring the future into this industry. So, yeah.
Such fantastic initiatives. Raksha, this is amazing, considering it's not even your day job. And I know we have up until this point spoken with your chairperson of Women in Mining South Africa hat on. But for those of our audience who may not know you, Raksha, please remind us what you actually do every day. Share that expertise with us, and what disruption from that point of view do you believe the industry is in dire need of?
Yeah, sure. So I am the CEO of the Particle Group, and the Particle Group comprises of two businesses that serve the mining services industry, AMIS, which is based in Johannesburg in South Africa, as well as CDM, that is based in Langley in Canada. And what we basically do is we produce certified reference materials that mining laboratories use for quality control. So from a disruption perspective, our products are such a niche part of the mining value chain, but such an absolutely crucial and critical part in ensuring that analysis is accurate and that it is truly representative of what it is that is being reported. So what we continue to do in terms of being positive disruptors, I'm not too sure if we're quite disruptive from that perspective, but we continue to produce a product that is of the highest quality, deliver service of the highest possible level, and ensure that these expertise and these very technical skills continue to be transferred to the right people within the industry, such that mining can be done more accurately, that we don't have as much wastage. We can ultimately build all of this to proper sustainable mining, and that we can work together to come together to actually continue to get the best type of products out of the ground, to continue to have accurate analysis, such that there's more funding that can be raised to continue to be put back into the industry as well, because there's a desperate need to continue to explore and find more of these minerals and materials in as sustainable a way as is possible. And I think, that's a whole other conversation, a different topic, but there's so much that we all can do. And again, we might be a niche part, but an equally important part in all of this. Whilst WMSA is not my day job, but my passion for making a difference continues in all aspects. And I think that's why this becomes so important to me. And having Hive and Mining Indaba give us this incredible platform to showcase the need and the importance of gender diversity is such an amazing thing, because this is such a positive way for us to continue to bring about change in this industry. So we're very grateful for that.
Oh, absolutely, Raksha. Thank you for your passion, your belief in women, and all the hard work that you're doing to really see gender emerge with such strength in the industry. It's been really fantastic to talk to you today. I really enjoyed
Thanks,
some of
Laura.
the insights of what you've shared.
Thanks very much.